Okay, good morning. I thought I'd do this marsh again. I wasn't happy with the results of it, so I thought I'd try it again. And I found the original photo, so I'm able to send you this. This photo is much better than the one with the wrinkles. Okay, so let's give it another shot. Same thing. I put the sun up here, a little sun, and it's going to be reflecting in that pool. What I'm going to do here is take some raw sienna. We'll do the whole thing here. You really should learn to master these washes. You know, it's so important. It's such a big part of watercolor to get that. You know, if anything, people tell me all the time they love the glow on my paintings, and you get the glow by doing, you know, layers of wash without doing washes one over another without disturbing the wash below, you know. So we're gonna stay away from that our reflection there. So basically that's what we're doing right here. All right, down in here, if you want, you can, this is a little darker and warmer, so if you want, you can put a little more. This is Quin Gold. It's a little richer. It's really a nice color. I'm gonna put it back up in here in the marsh too. Raw sienna up there. You know, why don't we just go with the gold? You know, it's such a nice color. So I'm going to drop the gold up there, gold here. And down here, you want it to be nice and strong. So put some extra pigment in it down here. Okay, let it come down. All right, so what we want to do there is take some ultramarine blue. We're going to drop this on the gold. We need to mix some rose with that because it's just too green. So this is rose and ultramarine blue, so it's a violet color. And we'll let that come down. We want a nice dark sky because we're going to have that sun peeking through. So down in here, we're going to use the green for our marsh. But before we do that, let's take some really dark ultramarine and Quin sienna, really dark color. So you know you're mixing two colors, you can push it towards one of those colors. We'll push it towards the Quin Gold here. All right, and so we want to get this dark in here. This is much drier, a lot less water here. So in fact, you may want to you know, take your brush and just hit the heel of your brush against the towel so that there's not a lot of moisture in there. So this is our dark here, and we're going to just bring it up where it's peeking through there. Okay, and also here. Very dry brush. A lot of pigment, almost no water. Okay, in here we're just gonna place our darks. And the reason I'm doing this now, before we do our green, is because I want the green to run over it and give it that grassy look, you know, that marsh, that look of a marsh with the grass. All right, so now we're taking Windsor green and a little touch of ultramarine blue, bring it down. We don't want this to be very light. And we're going to run it right under the sun there. And start right there. And just let that come down. Just push right through all that gold. You may have to come back up there and redo that. So stay away from your darks. You want to go above the dark there, above the. So we want this to come down and, you know, bleed over the marsh. Okay. Like so, you know, just let it. Just bleed right over that marsh. All right, so this is another layer of that dark green. And notice I'm not pushing too hard. I want this green to run over. See this beautiful grassy effect? That's because this dark is drier than what's coming down. What's coming down is very loose and juicy, it's going to hit that, and obviously when it builds up, it'll start coming over it. And that's what we want. We want to get that grassy look in there. Okay. Okay, if you need to, you know, you can give it a little spray. It'll come down a little more. But I think we're pretty much in good shape there. We don't want it to come down too fast. And what I'm going to do here is just take some clear water and pull this down into my reflection. You know, reflections come straight down always. So all you got to do really is put some water there. This will come straight down. I'm just picking up a little tiny drop of the green here, but okay, same thing on this side. All right, the sky is very dark, so that's what we're looking for here. I'm picking up the little of the violet that we used in the sky, and I'm just going to run a little edge there and then bring it down. All right, I'm going to dry it up. Let's see what we have here. Before I do, this grass, it's still very wet, obviously, so I'm going to take a towel, and I just want to get some texture on this grass just by touching it with a towel. Towel can be your best tool. It's as good as a brush sometimes. All right, I think we're good. If you wanted to, you know, you could do a little bit of touching on the tops of these marshes where they're getting some light. I wouldn't go too far with it, but just barely touching it. All right, I'm going to dry this up. Okay, I like this effect of, you know, of this running and the transparency of it. We got an interesting sky there. So, all right, let's get the darks in here. Now we have this green already here, so we can just push it a little more with the very dark. So this is going to be, I'm using a little ultramarine and quinsienna, and it's in the distance. We could, you know, if you want to put a little cobalt blue in that, it's way back. So we just want to get this line in, and what we want to just barely go under that. We have the tree there, so we don't have to worry about that side. And then on top, we want to put a little light in that. So let's take some, a little bit of Aurelian yellow, phthalo green. It's pretty bright, but it's going to mix into this dark. So what you want to do is push this and mix it, you know, just really get into it and push it. And just take a little piece of that moon out, see? All right. Just mix that. We'll let that set up a little, and then we'll soften that edge. That edge is a little hard. Now we want to get this tree in. What I like to do, you know, when I have a tree like that, you can go in and paint it a little at a time. I like to just take a dry brush, take some of this green. This is an old brush that I save, and I use the side of my brush, and this is very dry, so you want to save some sky holes there. Very dry brush, not a lot of moisture in there, but I'm picking up colors that are here on my palette already. So sky holes are very effective. They give the tree form and depth, and that's what you want. So we'll bring that down. Now I can go into this green and push right into the darks that's there. Actually, I'm just taking some raw sienna and pushing in, picking up the dark that's there. It's going to get less light on this side, so it's going to get a little darker over here. I think we're good there. All right, now I can get into my shadow. I'll give that a little bit of a spray, help some of that stuff, and I can actually just use this green and pick up a little shadow there. Now we can take that same and just soften this edge so it doesn't get, see, the more you soften that, what it's going to do is going to take the attention off that. That hard edge is drawing a lot of attention. So we want to take the attention from there to here and here. So let's see if we could just soften that enough. If you want, there is, you know, that grass here that's, all right, now we'll just put a little emphasis on this water here. So what we could do is take a little more of this violet color that we had, just bring this in a little tighter. All right, see, this is what I'm looking for, and this beautiful stuff is coming over, giving us that grassy look. We can put a little bit of light around that moon coming down. Just take some clear water and paint around a circle. Just paint a circle around that moon. Take a towel and just touch it. All right, and we can take some of this dark and just break this up a little bit. We don't want too much going on here. You know, you don't want to draw too much attention to it. So you don't want too many hard edges. The hard edges, you know, are drawing it down there. They're like hands waving, you know, look at me, look at me. All right, and the last thing I think I would do here is maybe a couple of little clouds in the sky. So I'd use some cobalt blue and a touch of raw sienna. Give us that blue-gray, and just a tiny drop of rose, because we have that violet sky. So I just think it'll look nice with some, the sky is very, very plain, so. And rinse out your brush and just soften, especially the tops of those clouds. Just run a, you know, clear water practically over the top. All right, there you are. Thank you so much for coming with me on this ride again. I appreciate it. I like this effect much better than the last one, so I hope you do too. All right, and I'll send you the better photo. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you again soon. Be safe, everybody.